listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, this is Brian Sebastian, live around the world. I want to thank Germany, Sweden, Norway, the UK, Australia, Canada, all the people, good people in the United States. I want to welcome today's guests. I got to say hi to Provincial Vodka. Paul Ribbon out of Canada. Obviously, Susan Poster was going to be here. I had a mishap, but she'll be coming back next year, 2018. Want to thank Stare Cosmetics. Got to thank the Restroom Kit, Bill Macy out of Maryland. Got to thank Qingtao, Richard Yang out of Shanghai, China. Got to thank Third Wolf Design. I've got to thank the Tree Sisters, Linda Steele out of Chicago. Sea Shepherd, Zoriana Kett, who'll be back next week. And we have much, much more Dunkin' Donuts, and I got a big surprise coming up for next week's show. First of all, let's get over to our guest today. We had a couple mishaps happen today. It's the last show of the year, and things happen. And I haven't had anything weird happen all year, so it's kind of funny. I had two people who had canceled out. But the good thing is that Patrick Rivera here, producer, director, Trick Entertainment, good friend, good movie maker, and then just a so-so woman, Gena Rivera. She's nobody, but I'm glad that she's here, out of the Navy, artist, and I'm glad to call her a good friend. I want to welcome everybody here. She's smiling and laughing because it is kind of funny.
Of course.
But the good thing is, welcome everybody. This is the last show of the year. I've been waiting to have Patrick on for a while, but a lot of times everybody knows things are due to people's schedules.
Yes.
And you've been busy doing a lot of stuff. We're going to start with you. Oh. What's been happening with you besides everything?
That's the thing. Everything's happening. And it's all good. I mean, I'm not going to complain. So 2017 was a really good year, and 2018 is going to be even better. So I'm pretty excited about it. Actually, a lot of things kind of fell on my lap, which is kind of neat. As you know, I work, a lot in the fitness industry. And a very good friend of mine, Dan Solomon, is a co-executive producer for a movie called Bigger. And this movie is the first of its kind bodybuilding movie, if you want to call it, about Joe Weider and how he took, a $20 investment, $7 investment, I think, and turned it into $1 billion industry. And it was shot all this past
in Alabama, right?
In Alabama, yep, in Alabama this past fall, and he hooked me up with a couple of the producers, and so now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find some sponsors for the premiere for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So
we may have some.
And that's what I'm hoping on. So it's been a really good project to work on. The people are great. Dan's been awesome.
I follow Dan a lot. I like him. We have never met, but I like what he does.
Well, next time he comes out, we should have him on because he's such a personable guy, and he's one of the nicest guys in this industry. I mean, no one says anything bad about him. So he's a good guy. Steve Jones is the producer of the movie, and George Gallo is the director of the movie.
This is not the Steve Jones who's done all the documentaries. That's not him. It's a different Steve Jones, right?
Steve Jones that did the...
Good Dreams and Everything?
Well, he did the Kevorkian movie.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So it's... Yeah.
I saw his name. I was wondering.
Yeah. So, because I know there's two Steve Joneses out there in this industry. So he's a great guy to work with. Really super neat guy.
That's going to be exciting to see. I actually look forward to that. For the people who aren't into the world of fitness, this is going to be a good film to see. Talk more about that. Who was he?
Joe Weider was, not only was he a dreamer, but he had an idea that no one ever thought of, and it was building, your body. And he goes, I wanted the world to learn how to get fit, stay fit. And what's funny is you look at the progression of, say back in the 50s, you have Steve Reeves, big muscle guy, he was in the movies. And, all right, he was a certain type of guy. But then it'll come along the 80s, you've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, you've got Sylvester Stallone, you've got all these guys who now are working out and are huge.
And they all started bulking up after a while, too.
Exactly, and then all of a sudden, everyone is.
Yep.
And now it's not just a bodybuilding thing, it's a fitness thing, and it's part of the movie genre. You take the shirt off, you take the, you have those certain scenes, you want to see something pleasing to the eye. And it was Joe, his vision for that, not just in the movies, but in life. And so he took that, and he was born in Canada, Montreal, and the guy was always picked on. There was racism, there was anti-Semitism, there was and he broke all of those stereotypes. He broke all of those challenges, and went for it. As we were talking earlier about, you have to do certain things to get along in this world. You just can't have things given to you. And he worked his butt off, and he created the top, competition, the Mr. Olympia, and it is, and that is for the top bodybuilder. And not only is it for bodybuilding, it's fitness, it's figure, it's bikini, it's CrossFit. It's all of that. All of that is under that umbrella, and it's because of Joe.
Nice. Now, Gena, you don't know, tell people what your history is, because it all comes back to kind of what we're talking about. You like to stay in shape too. I remember you saying she just recently got out of the Navy. It's not even been 6 months, has it?
It has been 6 months. July.
Stop it, it hasn't.
Yeah, 6 months. I know it's flown by, right?
Yeah.
And so I was getting fit, though. I was like all about it.
You were fit, yeah.
Yeah. There was nothing else to do. It's a routine. You're just working out, slaving away. You got to do something to get your mind off of it, right?
And I asked you one time, did you go running around the ship?
No. Yeah, that's
because
not
I didn't know any of this. They spend so much time below the ship.
Yeah.
So I would ask her things, what she could tell me, which is interesting. Tell them what your job was. Can you talk about it now?
So I was a missile radar technician. So that's legitimately probably like one of those things that people are like, what? Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. So all I did was,
she is a geek.
Yeah, I'm a total nerd, and I mask it very well, though. I think I do.
She does. Don't let the hair fool you.
But, my job was, I spent hours on end inside, so I'll go days without light. We're slaving over $1 million system. Most people don't see what we do. They think we're lazy. They think all we do is sit around and play video games all day and work out.
Well, you definitely weren't lazy. And let me tell you this. People who are lazy, who don't communicate, this woman called me no matter where she was on a ship, no matter where she was in different time zones. So when I get on people that not hearing about them, this is the person that always called me no matter where she was around the world.
Yeah, and nobody always will answer. Anytime I called you, you're always there. And that's one thing that being able to call somebody and knowing that they'll answer the phone is like one of the best things you can get, because it's like if you're going through something, if you need to talk to somebody, if you're just over it and you're like, man, I hate so-and-so and she's acting crazy.
It was true.
Yeah, and all the stories that I would give you about all just the random mess that would go on. I told you we needed like a reality show. Mm-hmm. Reality show like Love and Hip Hop meets Navy. Like so much drama between everybody's dating somebody and somebody's cheating on somebody's wife and somebody's it was so messy, and I'm glad I stayed out of it.
Patrick, I would ask her about what's the food like there, and she would say, you talked about salad one day.
Oh man.
Because you guys were working out because there's really nothing else to do besides that and watch movies.
Man. Yeah, there was at one point I went vegan, and all I was eating was salads and mashed potatoes. That's all I could really
And this is in the Navy.
Yeah. There really wasn't too many options, and luckily I had stashed away like Cliff Bars, which aren't that great for you, but that was like all I could really do. Yeah, something that could switch it up, just for flavor. I tell my mom that all the time now. It's like I don't eat for flavor anymore. It's just like I know I need to eat, so give me some food, it'll fill a hole, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and getting better, because my eating pattern was terrible, because I would work a lot and then I would eat at the end. Now I'm getting better at eating, because that goes back to how people in the world of fitness train.
Yes.
Talk about that. You guys are eating 5-6 meals a day.
Well, some of us have to. It depends on your workout regimen and what you're doing. I know I have to eat at least 6 or 7 times, because my insulin levels just go, they just go all the way down. Yeah. And if I don't, and my wife just says I'm nuts. So, and I am. I'm just a whole different person if I don't eat.
Right.
And then in the morning I'm starving. But it's because of the workouts, and I put in I don't go full out bodybuilder workout, but I go enough because I want to keep what I have and be a little stronger and what have you. And as you get older, it gets harder. And so that's where I'm at right now too. But my metabolism gets a little faster by doing that, which is kind of cool, because again, older you get, metabolism goes really slow, but keep working out to go faster, and eating helps that metabolism.
Definitely does.
When did you know you wanted to get into be the world of bodybuilding or fitness? When did you know?
Oh my God, actually was my.
And who did you look up to?
So when I was growing up, my brother, who's 7 years older than I am, he had the bodybuilding magazines, Flex Magazine and Muscle and Fitness, and I would always look at them. And so when I was in 8th grade, I was, more like 7th grade. I was more of, a little chunkier than I wanted to be. I was slow in football. I was, just I was out of breath and whatever. And my parents got a swimming pool, and the high school football coach noticed me and gave me a free membership to the gym. At the time, he owned the gym.
Where was this?
This is in North Platte, Nebraska.
Oh,
this is a little
Nebraska
town.
boy. Okay.
This is a little town in Nebraska.
And you're wearing what? Nebraska.
Right.
Nice.
See, well, the thing is, and football is life there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, of course, I wanted to play football, and I started working out. And before and I was strong. He noticed I was strong, and it was since then that I never stopped. I haven't stopped since 8th grade, and that's a long time ago. But it changed my life, and because it changed my life, I need to keep it up. And now that I'm older and I have kids, it's survival mode. It's I want to be there for my kids, and I had my kids at an older age, and when they graduate, I'm going to be 60, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So but I want to be there for them, and I want to make sure that I'm in the best shape possible, because it's because of that lifestyle that's got me to where I am today. I mean, it's changed me.
Yeah. When you were on the ship, when you couldn't work out, you were moody.
Oh yeah, because I'm a runner. Like I love to run. Like I'm training for a half marathon right now. I'm training for a
Are you
San
really?
Diego half marathon. This is the first one I've done since I've gotten injured, but I'm ready.
You are ready?
I'm ready. Like it's a mental game. It's not
It is
a physical
mental.
game.
I used to
Oh,
run.
yeah.
I used to run cross country, and it is.
Yeah, it's totally. And I'm ready. I want to knock off. Like I think the last race I did in 2 hours, and I want to get like that hour 30. I'm trying to get there. I want to do it in an hour and a half.
Good for you.
Yeah. I'm
So,
ready.
what were some of these guys doing on the ship when they were supposed to be working out?
Sleeping.
Yeah.
in spaces like where they're not supposed to be sleeping, they'll disappear. Like, hey man, I'm gonna go work out, and we'll find them somewhere in between some cabinet and some space, passed out, hanging out.
Yeah. Exactly.
The work ethic of some of these guys was just trash. They would just disappear and go to sleep anytime they got a chance.
What used to make me laugh, Patrick, was I'm like, okay, are you eating okay? No. Are you? I remember Mark Bedell sent the water clock to you,
Yep.
and someone sent candles to you, but I didn't know you couldn't have candles because she goes,
Yeah.
it smells here. I'm like, let me send some candles. So we sent candles, but I didn't know they couldn't light candles up
No.
on a ship.
Trust me, if we could, we would have, because some of those women were not bathing properly. Yeah. Just say I'm thankful that they kept it at about 40 degrees. It was cold, so there's no room for aromas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yummy. Yeah, exactly. It smelled like a gym.
Yes, exactly. But what did you do to keep your spirits up, to keep your energy up? Because you looked good when you came back, but I know it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't. I attribute it to my religion, my faith, and to working out. Like if it wasn't for that, I probably would have came back a broken woman.
Yeah.
Because it was hard. There was a lot of days that were hard. You're going without sleep. You're going without talking to your family. And your mail comes sparsely. So holidays, you might get something, you might not. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things.
See, that's got to be hard, because it's emotionally, especially wanting to get up and just do something
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah.
Emotionally you're wrecked, going, I miss people, I don't want to be here at times, and that says a lot about a person.
Yeah, it was hard. And people think like, oh yeah, you're in the Navy, you get to see the world. But it's like, I tell them it's like going to a restaurant and only having appetizers.
Right.
You're
There you
just
go.
getting a little
That's a good
taste.
scenario.
Yeah, you're just getting a small little taste of the culture, and then you're off. I mean, we had Cinderella Liberty. We couldn't leave. We had to be inside at midnight.
Yeah.
Every single time we went out. No parties.
You did celebrate New Year's in different time zones, didn't you?
It was Halloween. We had 2 Halloweens.
Yeah.
And they didn't even let us wear masks.
Talk about that.
It was so lame.
What countries were you?
We went to Singapore. We went to Hong Kong. We went to Japan. We went to places called Tonga and Pago Pago, places you have to pay thousands of dollars to try to get to because it's little teeny tiny island in the middle of nowhere that most people probably wouldn't want to go to because it's questionable. But there are some really nice things that we saw. A lot of trinkets to shopping and handsome men in foreign countries.
When a guy takes his shirt off, what does that do for you? When you see someone who's just fit, what does that do for you as a woman?
Okay, there's a difference for me. It's like I like guys that are in shape, but sometimes it's not sexy to me, like somebody who spends all the time in the gym. Like, I get it, that's what you want to do, but I feel like you're not going to spend that much time with me if you're spending that much time in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in moderation.
Exactly.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. So this is why I go for guys that are, just... they got a normal shape. It's not some old juiced up like.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that's what that was. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, how am I supposed to wrap my arms around him for a hug? Like, I'm just grabbing his arm, like, "Hey, baby, I love you."
Which goes to, I heard a story. I can't mention his name. One guy, he was working out a lot, but the dedication wasn't there because he had a girlfriend. And if you're in that world, supposedly, you've got to dedicate everything to really be in it there, especially when you're competing. True or not true?
You separate yourself from your family because it's the only thing at the time, especially when you're in a higher league, if you want to call it that. If you're a professional bodybuilder and you're in the Olympia, it's a whole different world because that's where most of your money's going to come from.
Right.
And so it's hours and hours and hours and hours in the gym, and not only that, I mean, it's the way they eat. If you don't have a wife that supports you with that, well, then you have to make everything yourself. You have to find someone that's going to make it. It's that whole lifestyle. I mean, there's been a lot of, bad marriages because of it. But, of course, everybody's vain in this industry as well. And they think that they're, this and that. And, things happen, And like you said, just kind of like in the Navy, it's like, there's that one person, have an affair with that person, have an affair with that person. Yeah. Because at the time, it's all about them, and they think, well, because it's about me, I can do whatever. And that's sad. I mean, I love the industry. Don't get me wrong. I love what it's all about, and I love that people can be healthy, but I think that sometimes it just goes, because of internally, people are so into themselves they don't think of others.
So do you think they can coexist, like your personal life and like working out, like in?
There are some that can. I mean, I know of a lot that can.
Yeah.
And it's again, there's people, especially nowadays, that just don't care. Mm-hmm. Even back in the legends back in the day, you've got your gentlemen, but then you've got the ones that even today, who were competing back in the 80s, they still think they're back in the 80s. I'm so and so, and I can,
That's like your typical B/C actor too.
Yes.
Like that. They were in the limelight. You don't want to lose it. You'll do anything to maintain that, no matter what, even though time has passed you by.
Right.
That's why when you see Arnold Schwarzenegger going by The Rock in this one movie, is passing the torch.
Right.
Look where The Rock is now. Been following his career and his father, when I was growing up in Connecticut with the WWE, his dad was Rocky Johnson, his grandfather, great-grandfather, the great Chief Peter Maivia. And it was good to see him. When he first came in and did his first movie, nobody knew who he was unless you were watching wrestling. And there was only two press people who were. So when he did The Mummy Returns in 2001, I was there to greet him. I had his book. I had everything. I'm like, this guy's going to be it. So there's a big picture, and there's a publicist in the back. And this is when he had his lean neck and huge like this. I wasn't supposed to take the photo off of my little disposable camera. I'm like, I'm getting the picture because this is going to be a moment in time. And it was. And I just never forget, no, there's no time for pictures. I'm like, I'm taking a picture. This is The Rock. Look where he is now. $86 million last year.
Wow.
Because of Danny Garcia also, who will be coming on the show pretty soon. But again, you got that strong woman in the back helping that man. What's the great saying about women?
There's always a strong woman behind them.
That's right. Say that again.
Every strong man has a strong woman behind him.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So look where he is. And what's he championing? Where was he in Olympia last year? Or this past September? He was there on stage.
Yeah. It's been a love for him, all of these years, and once he was able to get his production company
$7 production
to do the Olympia last year.
Yep.
That was a dream for him, and it was a dream for the industry as well. It's like, who wouldn't want The Rock to team up with you and at least have that extra exposure? Because this industry is still kind of taboo, if you want to call it, because people don't get it. They see The Rock, they don't consider him in that industry. He's a wrestler, he's an actor, he's something different. But in reality, he's the same as those bodybuilders.
Absolutely.
And it's because of those bodybuilders that he looked up to, he is who he is.
And going back to wrestling, the world of WWE, it's like actors want to be musicians, musicians want to be actors, wrestlers want to be in the world of fitness.
Yeah.
And those people want to be in the world of acting or wrestling. It's the same.
Yes.
It's very, very interesting. How did you become a filmmaker? How did that happen? And by the way, your film, still to this day, Evolution of Bodybuilding, I still tell people about. When did it come out? In 2012, I think?
Yeah.
Okay. If you never got a chance to see it, it's called The Evolution of Bodybuilding. Tell them what it is. It's a good film.
It's it's basically the history of the past 50 years of the Mr. Olympia, going all the way back to 1964. And we interviewed the very first Mr. Olympia, and pretty much all of them, except for Arnold at the time, because we couldn't get him because of his controversy at the time, and a couple others, but we got pretty much all. It's only been 16 of them.
It's a great film.
And I wanted, the one thing people were asking for was that they wanted a film about the history and who these people are, because this generation don't know a lot about the first, the second Mr. Olympia. They just don't, but they're in this industry, and I believe that if you're in any industry, you should know the traditions and the roots of where they came from, because that will make you stronger and make you better at what you do. And so we decided to do a film like that so people understand what they went through, what they were going through. There was no such thing as, a $250,000 prize. It was $1,000. They had
What year
jobs.
was that?
1965.
Yep.
They had jobs. They had to work, and then they had to go into the gym and work again, hour upon hour apart, and eat right and do all the same things they're doing today.
And be scrutinized for the way they looked.
Absolutely. And they didn't, and they didn't care. They loved that's the difference, is that there was so much passion. And you still even see it in Arnold's eyes today, the passion he has for it. And nowadays it's, well, am I getting a supplement, sponsorship, and when am I going to get this, and when am I going to do that? The passion's gone in a lot of it, but it's, for some, it's still there. But I just think it's, we wanted the film to be more of a, this is what it really was about, and how it changed. Going back to your question of how I started when I was 16. I worked for an NBC affiliate back in Nebraska.
Really?
Yeah, and
wow.
Well, it was one of those. The general manager was my neighbor, actually, and
good for you.
And he's like, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I just I don't know. I'm gonna give you a chance, but you're gonna have to work. You have to clean the toilets. You're gonna have to clean, take out the trash, and then you can do a little studio, camera work. I'm like, all right. I tried it out, and I worked my butt off because you want to impress. Yeah. Well, I cleaned the toilets for 2 months. And that was it, because they noticed how I really got involved with wanting to shoot, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Well, do you want to edit?" I'm like, "I would love to. I'd love to try it." I became friends with the head editor. We hung out. He said, "Just what you need to know." Within 3 or 4 months, I was the head editor of 10 O'Clock News. So, wow. By the time I was a senior in high school, I was head editor of 10 O'Clock News. I was the head E&G guy for the weekend, their weekend camera guy. And, I was like, well, then where do I go from there?
And you just happen to like it too, right?
I did.
This is something that either you like it or you don't.
Right, and it wasn't just, it's a job, okay, hey, let's go chase a tornado. All right, cool, get the camera, and that's what we did. I mean, that's what you did in the Midwest. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's, what am I going to do with my life? Okay, I had scholarships to play football. I had scholarships to sing. I had scholarships to a couple other things.
You were a singer?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
I remember you
I know
told me
people.
about
Yes,
that.
people.
Oh,
My wife still goes, "You've never sang for me ever," and it's just I haven't sang in 20 some years, and it's just I love.
You
it's
know,
one
I
of-
put people on the spot here when
I
you're
know,
singing.
and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
he's got the pipes.
Maybe one day, eventually, with these new documentaries,
Yeah.
I may do some singing on it. So
Oh, okay.
we may. But there's that. I was even thinking about being a priest. Yeah, I was.
Really?
I had that. I had a calling. I got to say, I really did. And my music teacher at the time showed me a film and music school in Denver. It was just brand new. They were just opening it up. I was their second graduating class. I went there. I liked it, but it was expensive. It was a private school, and they had a scholarship offer, and they said, well, you can either lay out if you had a record store, and it shows my age, a record store, how you would design it and have people come in, or you can do a music video. Well, I worked at the TV station. I got some footage of my high school football stuff. Got it all together, put some music behind it, sent it in, got the full ride scholarship.
Nice.
Good.
So it's from there, just, I loved it. I fell in love with everything that had to be film, music related. And of course, this is late 80s, early 90s, and came out to California. And of course, I wanted to be a music video director.
That was the way to break in at that point, though.
Well, it was, because there was at the time, there was a lot of record companies, small ones, and that's what I went for. I went after these small companies because they didn't want to pay $50,000, $60,000 for a music video. And at the time, that's when Michael Jackson's going for $1 million, dollars for a music video. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be that guy that offers them a reasonably priced music video, but it'll look like a $50,000 video. Mm-hmm. And my first music video was with a company called Rotten Records, and they had a brand new industrial metal band at the time. And he said, go for it, but he gave me $1,000. He's like, and he didn't think anything. He's like, it's $1,000, just get him off my case. The manager of the band said, if you impress this guy, you impress us, we'll take you places. And that $1,000 I spent just on film. That's it. Because I had a place to edit. I had all the cameras.
I was being very smart.
Yes, and I had I had guys who were lighting directors that we were all, getting into the industry at the same time, and we did anything. So they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So my crew was free. Everything was basically free except for the film. So I could do this music video, and I did it, and it was on MTV Japan and MTV Singapore. Wow. Because it was with that industrial metal stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and it did really well. And so I got a couple other music videos here and there, and then before you know it, people are like, hey, can you do this, And that's when I met the Best Boys.
Wow.
And then Brian O'Neill, the lead singer, he loved me. He loved my work ethic. And I spent a whole day with him in the studio just filming him for a music video he was doing. And ever since that time, we've become very, very, very good friends.
And you're still with him?
And I'm still with him. Anything that he does, I'm right there with him, because he's a great guy to work with.
Good for you.
Yeah, so the long end of the story.
Well, what's interesting about that, when she was on a ship, I was always asking her, be prepared to come back because time goes quick. You may not be going quick on that ship, but it goes quick.
Yeah.
It's just crawling where you are.
Yeah.
So she wanted to get a camera, and she goes, I'm going to order a GoPro.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so all right, have that artist in you, be that director, be that blogger, be whatever. And then she started doing stuff like that, because I was thinking of, and I told her about your movie at one point.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I was picking certain films for a film festival. I'm like, this film is a borderline. Follow the lead on this.
Yeah.
So now she's got her camera. What she does with it, I don't know.
I've been doing I was doing a film production class, and I was doing that, working on some weird stuff. You know, I'm kind of out there when my films, like, I realize that I'm just kind of spacey. Like, it's not quite a narrative, and it's not quite a fully developed idea at this point. I'm still kind of a novice when it comes to building like, I've written a script before, and doing that, it was fun. It was interesting. It was like a drama, but
you probably will like the editing too. You're starting to get into that now.
Yeah, I'm starting to get more into the editing, and it's fun. It's just tedious. It's a tedious process.
So what would you ask Patrick?
I would ask him what is one of the best programs that you can recommend for editing, like, on the market. Yeah, that's a loaded question.
Well, I mean, right now there's not a whole bunch of them now because they've been eaten up by the big boys.
Of course.
And of course, you know, you hear of Avid, and Avid's the top thing. But, you know, I still work with, you know, Premiere, and I still work with Final Cut 10. Yeah. And I actually use both. I'll do a rough cut on Premiere because it's just easier and faster. It's a lot like Final Cut 7. And then and then I'll take it into Final Cut 10 and do all of my mastering and all of my effects and all of my overlaying, all that, because I just think it's a much easier and better program for that. Okay. So plus I have more plugins for that.
I've been struggling through Premiere. Like, I've just been kind of meandering through that.
But this is where you learn what you like. Yeah. You know, I tell that to a lot of people because they're like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then
But do they really want to do the work, though? Because it's still work. You gotta love to edit.
Well, that's the problem. Is hey, look, everyone's an editor. Okay, I mean, you can edit on this thing now, and so everyone says that they're an editor, but there's an art to it. Definitely. And if you don't put that art into it, you're just a guy that knows how to cut things together. Exactly. And so you do. I mean, I spend hours upon hours upon hours in the edit room because I love it. I love the creation. I think I like it even more than producing at times because it's just because you're starting to make it happen. Yeah. It's starting to make you're like seeing it come, you know, to completion. Yeah. Because when you're shooting it, you're shooting this, and you're shooting that, and all these different pieces. You're like, oh my gosh, did I get it all? Did I not? And it's a whole different
That's what
thing.
when I'm looking for a camera person, I'm like, okay, do you like to shoot or do you like to edit? Because I'm looking for both. Yeah. They go, oh, I like to edit. I'm like, yeah, but do you love to edit? That's what I ask them. Do you love to edit?
It's very rare that you find the ones that like to do it all. And
I know.
And I like Robert Rodriguez a lot.
Oh yeah, because he does everything.
He does it all, and that's when I first came out here. Not only did I just, you know, say, well, I want to start doing these low-budget music videos, I went out and I wanted to learn as much as possible. Yeah. And I was a grip. I was a, second hand. I was a DP assistant, and I wanted to learn it all. Yeah. And that way, if I had a cheap budget, I don't have to hire a DP. I can do it myself. If I need
That's what I liked about Robert.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do it yourself. Yeah. And it's not that you don't need those people, but when you really need, that quick thing, you have that instinct to do certain things. I've learned so much from lighting directors on how to light.
It's so important.
It's important because they have that, they know what they're looking at. Exactly. And if you don't have that same vision, then you can't do it. Nope. It's just, you can't say, well, I'll just throw a light up. No. You just can't do it. And so I've taken all of those little things that I've learned throughout those years, and I like to do it all. I mean, I like to shoot my own stuff. I like to edit my own stuff. And I guess, people are like, well, you're just taking, you want all the credit.
But that's not you. You love what you're doing, because I've seen those films where people written, edited, done the score, acted in, produced by, and they did it because of ego purposes.
Right.
They didn't do it because they loved to do it, and they didn't do it the right way. The film shows.
Yeah. Right. See, and that's what I did. I mean, with my 2 movies, I even did some original scores on there, and I did the ending credits for Evolution of Bodybuilding, and
which were good.
But it's like, because I had that talent. I mean, I can do it. Yeah. And so, again, I'm not doing it to show off. I'm not doing it, but I'm doing it because I love it.
You explain why you started doing it, because you love to do it. That's the difference.
Because music was always my first love.
Yeah. And that's what I was telling Gena on this. I'm like, if you're gonna start editing, you better love to edit because it's gonna be hours.
But the whole reason I got into doing film production is because as an artist and creating things, and like with doing film, it's like you want to be able to articulate your thoughts like perfectly, and if you can't do that and somebody doesn't get it, then it's hard to even try to explain it to them if they don't even see it.
And that is hard. I mean, it's hard to find that one person that you can trust, and they go and you say they get it.
Yeah.
I found a writer like that, and he's just a young kid, and he's a great writer, and he's an editor, but this kid's like writing. He did my whole Evolution of Bodybuilding movie, and I gave him a chance. I'm like,
what's his name?
His name is Ian Matero, and this kid is. I'm a terrible writer. Okay, I'm
a terrible writer too.
I can write down bullet points. This is what I want, and he'll go, okay, give me a little bit of this, and this. I'll give it to him, and then before you know, he's got this whole script written. I'm like, whoa, wow. It's amazing. I mean, this kid's gonna go far. I mean, he really is. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
When you were doing your latest doc, is it about the women in fitness?
Well, that's been on the back burner for years.
Okay.
And the reason why it's been on the back burner for years is because not a lot of people want to put money into it.
Isn't that sad?
It is so sad because I've gone to sponsors before and they're like, it's not going to be interesting. No one's going to watch it. And you know what? Women are the forefront of this industry. And again, a lot of these women look back at who the people were before them. Your Corey Eversons, your Rachel McClishes.
Yep.
I mean, those were the ones that built this industry up. And they looked to them. Why not do an homage to them, and celebrate who they were in this industry? And for some reason, people don't want to. And I did a trailer, I think it was 5 years ago on it. And the girls want to do it. Some do, some don't. Some just want to stay away. Some just don't even want to deal with it anymore because it's just that was their life. It's now no longer their life, and so I haven't pushed it. And
I actually want to see it. I look forward to.
I eventually I'm going to do it. I mean, I will. It's just it's the right time.
It's the timing. Yeah.
It's the timing. It's like It's like going to Rachel McClish, and I want it to be the right time. I want it to be, in the right way. Corey Everson the same way. I mean, I grew up, watching them, and I was in awe by them to see these women doing what they're doing, and it was awesome. And so, I just want to give them that respect also. So that time will come. I mean, eventually. I'm doing so many other things. It's like I'm kind of glad it's on the back burner, but it's
one of the things I liked about them in the home video days for VHS when I was in video stores and running them. I learned how to pick films and to see which movies and when people came in. If you came in tired, I would give you the right film based on how you were feeling. Absolutely. And you had to because you wanted that repeat business. You got to know what you had. So there's 3 people that came out of home video. There's Quentin Tarantino. Quentin would give you something that he liked. Oh, this is the best film ever. And it would be, Bloody Rotten Tomatoes #3.
Right.
Because Quentin liked it. You take it home and say, what the hell is this? And then Kevin Smith. Kevin would give you something, quirky because he made Clerks. And then, obviously, what are they? Filmmaker, director, actor, screenwriter, producer. I didn't want to do that stuff. So I was like picking films that I knew you would like to watch based on that audience. My job is to get that audience to get off their ass and go see your film. That's my job.
See, and it's funny.
And I got to be right.
Well, and that's the thing is, there's a lot of films out there, a lot of films, and
in 5 days, I'm going to total up what my film is for 2017. It will not beat my best year, which was 1,198 films, and that's TV shows too. And and anybody who knows me, I watched the entire film. Sometimes I have to rewind it back because you got to get up. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get up and do push-ups because this film is killing me.
But see, that's why it's important for a producer or director for their next project, not just to go, oh, well, I want to do another one. It's what can I do to interest outside of what we're talking about? That's my goal. My goal is when I did Evolution Bodybuilding, I didn't just want to hit the meatheads. I wanted to hit people so they understood who these people were. I'm telling stories of these bodybuilders, and they're people, and that was my underlying, score of it, was they're people too, and they have lives, and they have feelings and all of that, and that's the difference between, I think, showing, guy lifting weights, go, oh, there he is, and this is what he did, and this is what he won. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit more, about him. My next film I want to do, it's about the rodeo. I mean, we're talking about, now I'm going all the way different. It's about the rodeo life.
Oh.
And how
that's going to be interesting, though.
And I want to make it to where
there hasn't been one done yet.
Nope.
Well, it's actually a documentary about a man who was he's called the voice of rodeo. That's actually the name of the movie. And again, interesting story. He started off from nothing and became the voice of rodeo. Wow. And everyone admires this man. They loved him. And when he died just in this past March, it killed.
Did you get footage of him?
We have. Well, my partner in this film, her name's Susie Dobbs. She had a TV show with him in Tennessee.
Oh, wow. Did you know?
Well, another story of, small town Nebraska. Her and I are from the same town, and we're the same age. And
did you know each other?
We knew each other.
Okay.
And she went to Tennessee to be a professional singer, and she did. She went off and did some albums and touring and what have you, and she locked onto the rodeo. And this voice of radio, he is from my hometown. So he's from our hometown. And when he died, I called her up and I said, we need to do a documentary on him, because it's just, he was so loved and so well known all over the world. I mean, he did every rodeo in the world.
Wow.
And so,
what was his name?
Hadley Barrett. And just a guy who was lived on a ranch. He was a bull rider, and one day they needed a guy to do voiceover for the rodeo. All right, I'll do it. And he took off from there.
Wow.
And he was the first guy to introduce the rodeo and do the rodeo on horseback. And, he's beloved by, again, everyone. George Strait, Reba McEntire. I mean, you name it, everyone knew him. And we actually did some interviews with some of his friends last month when we went to the National Finals Rodeo. And these grown men were bawling because they missed him so much. That's how much they meant to this man. And that's what I want to show the people, is that this man was pretty beloved. And so it's going to be a challenging, movie, but it's going to be a love. I'm
you still looking for financing?
I am.
Okay.
I'm halfway financed.
Good.
And so in 2 days, I got half of it already paid for. While I was in Vegas, which I was very happy with. And we have a couple people that we're working on right now, and one is Dodge Ram. They're very interested. We have Pendleton Whiskey, which I never even heard of until then. And when they gave me a drink, now I'm a believer. And that's why I can't wait to try the vodka here, because and I don't drink whiskey.
Oh.
I don't drink it at all.
What?
At all.
What's
And
your
this was everything that I loved about a drink. It was smooth. It was good. I'm a tequila guy. So that's all I used to drink, and now I'm like, ugh. So
interesting.
We're trying to get Justin Boots. We're trying to get a couple other people, but it's been fun so far. I'm actually having fun doing this. Just even the pre-production of it, it's fun. So I think the rest of it's gonna be fun.
You said you were getting ready to train or run a marathon.
Yeah, I'm training for a half.
What's your training like?
I'm running almost 5 days a week, 5 or 6 days a week. I'm getting back at it. I'm doing anywhere from
2 to 5 miles training up, going about an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, about an hour running. I said I was at the house and I went out and I said, Mom, I'll be back in 30 minutes because she was just hanging out. And I was like, it took me a little hour. She's like, oh, I thought I had to call somebody to come get you because you gone a little bit longer. I was gone for an hour. I didn't even know. I mean, I just started running.
You're just running. You were like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, man. I hit the road and I was feeling good about it. I just kept going with it.
It's the solitude, and
Yeah,
you get a
man.
lot of stuff off your mind.
Oh yeah, man.
That's true.
Dedication. Man.
That's dedication. That is definitely.
I love it.
Patrick, who do you see coming up in the world of fitness on the women's side? Obviously, there's Oksana.
Well, because Oksana's, she's retiring now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I loved her. I mean, I would say that she is the best overall around athlete, men and women. Overall, I think she's got it all. I mean, this woman she puts her heart and her soul into what she does, and there's not a day where she's like, well, I'm gonna slack and and she is the nicest person. So seeing her, I mean, she deserves everything that she gets because she's so sweet and she's so talented.
4-time Miss Olympia, 10-time honor winner.
Oh, she's awesome. And there's not one time that I've seen her, especially she's coming off the stage and I'm grabbing her, giving her a hug, and not once does she go, not now, not now. She'll take the time, sweaty and out of breath, and I give everything to her. She's awesome.
I like the fact that, and for the people who don't know, it's Oksana Krishina, and I love her Michael Jackson, and I love what she's doing with pole fitness.
When she did that Michael Jackson routine at the Arnold, I was blown away. I was just like, at the time I was doing the live broadcast at the Arnold when she did that, and I'm just like looking at the screen going, oh my God. I had to leave because I wanted to go see it. I wanted to see her on stage, and I left and went to the front, and I was like, this is just amazing, the things that she can do, and then all the different stuff she does, and then the stuff she does on the pole is just, it's
And her one-arm stance.
oh,
What?
it's crazy.
Wow.
She is so strong that it's
I've got to
incredible.
see this. I got to
Yeah,
see this.
Yeah, it's great.
Go on her website. Just it's nuts. All of her routines, and you can look at her routines, and there's not one that's the same. They're all different.
And she even
tries it
auditioned for
different.
America's Got Talent in 2016.
Yeah,
And she did a good job.
she did a good job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite films? You were just talking about something you see. But you know what? What did you just see?
Star Wars.
What was that again?
Star Wars.
The Last Jedi. I'm not a
Oh,
Star Wars
yeah.
fan, but I loved it. I saw it twice.
Really?
Yeah, I snuck into the second. I snuck in the second time to see it in 3D.
Oh, the video was great.
Yeah, it was interesting. I loved it. As a non-Star Wars person, this is my favorite one.
Your
That's-
favorite one?
Well, yes, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I love this. Why'd you like it?
I enjoyed it just because everything from the theatrics to the character choice, like everything about it was just beautiful. Like they thought of it. And then on top of that, even like my mom said she hadn't even watched Star Wars in like years, and
Right.
she could catch on to it. The storyline.
Did she like it?
Yeah, she enjoyed it. Like she stayed awake through the whole thing, and I was like, wow, good on you,
Well,
mom.
that's good.
Because she normally falls asleep on my movie. That's just her. She's anyway. But yeah,
There's
it was.
people from Maryland, right?
Huh? What? Virginia.
Oh, Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, got to get
Yeah.
that right.
Yeah, repping. Anyway, but yeah, it was a wonderful movie. I enjoyed
Favorite film? You have
Ever?
a favorite film? Yeah.
it. Ooh, wow. The Last Dragon.
Get out of here.
I love that movie. It's so bad, it's
Re-
good.
Patrick's like, what?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I
Makes-
grew up watching it.
Makes my favorite movies like makes me like a wuss.
Why was that?
The Last Dragon. I love kung fu movies. Like I've always loved action films and kung fu movies, and the fact that it was like the first like black kung fu movie, like, and it was like Bruce Lee, Roy, and it was hilarious.
Did
It
you
was
know who
amazing.
Jim Kelly was?
No, I didn't at the
Okay.
time, and I totally loved that movie. Because watching it now, it's just comedic. It's like
But see,
watching.
even at the time when I first saw it, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was totally a cool movie. Like, and for me, I was just like, what? Like he's in there pop locking and stuff. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
a little kid. Oh yeah, it was good memories, man.
Patrick, you get a favorite film?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Really?
Oh,
Original.
nice.
Ah,
Nice.
a classic.
I mean, there's that one, but I'd say, I mean, lately it's been that one because my kids have been getting into it, and I love the music in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a musical movie type of guy, but there's that meaning behind it, I guess.
Yeah.
But my all-time favorite, original Robin Hood with Errol Flynn.
Yes, exactly. Classic.
That is my all-time favorite.
Why?
I've always been an Errol Flynn fan, and
Great actor.
that movie growing up, it was like, this is cool. I mean, he was like, kicking butt and taking names back then.
He was probably the best Robin Hood too.
I think so.
Definitely.
I think so. I mean, it's just I loved everything about it. It was just it's my childhood, I guess. I'm watched it with my parents all the time, and then for me, it just became a classic for me, and I just love it.
Awesome.
You were talking about a film that you saw that my ears perked up. What was that film?
Man with the Iron Heart.
And where did you see it?
So I am also
This is another story.
Yeah, another
This is a good story.
I am also I'm an editor down in Orange County for a company that gets basically prepares all the movies for the airlines.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do all the edited versions for these movies. So basically I ruin movies. And
Or make them better.
Well, true. It all depends. It all depends if it's going to Air Emirates. Forget it. Then I'm taking everything out.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But this movie came along, and it was one of those movies where when I was watching it, I had to stop working because it was just so compelling. And I did. I just stopped work, and I watched it for 2 hours. And I'm a big World War II movie fan, and I love the history of everything World War II. And this was basically a kind of a history story. And I just loved the two stories of the film. And one side of it is, this lead guy of the SS who is getting ready to set up, these concentration camps and annihilate, human race, as it is. And then you've got these poor Polish Jewish people who are fighting for their lives. And you see the two different types of scenarios, if you want to call it that. And I love the fact that you somehow feel just somewhat sorry for this guy in the SS, but then he's just so evil, so bad, and just everything wrong with him. Yeah. Then there's these poor Jewish people that just want to live and want their country back, and they'll do anything. I mean, they'll do anything to get it back. And there was the story of them assassinating him when he came into town. And at the end of the movie, I'm bawling because it was just so powerful. I mean, you were there. That's how much that movie gripped me, because I was there as one of those, Jewish people. I was just, I loved it.
That's beautiful. I want to see it now.
Only on the airlines, huh?
It's out. I mean, it's
in limited release wherever.
I think it's.
I got to see this. What's the name of it again?
Man with the Iron Heart.
Okay.
And it's a good movie. Just a really good movie.
Anything? Obviously, we just had our Christmas movies come out. All the Money in the World, Molly's Game, which was really, really good. Anything that you look forward to seeing? Because you don't have a lot of time as a filmmaker, and you got kids too.
And I have kids, so it's. I mean, I haven't even seen Star Wars yet, so I mean, it's
not going anywhere.
Well, and with the past, 3 Star Wars movies, I had to wait until and rent it, basically. It's just I haven't had time, and unless my kids are getting older now. If there's an Avenger movie coming out, I'm going to the theater.
Don't worry, there's another one coming next year.
Coming.
So the next 2 years are going to be, filled in the movie theater with my son. He's a big Iron Man fan. So
cool.
But as far as looking forward to anything, I mean, I don't even know what's coming out right now. I mean, Ferdinand. I mean, I mean, that's the only reason. I mean, I know it's like these kids' movies because my kids want to see them, and they're at that age where they want to see these movies now. And it takes a lot for me to see these newer movies. And I've been kind of like you. I've been doing a lot of previewing of movies that have been going through work. And I've seen some pretty crazy things, some independent movies. American Satan I just saw, which crazy movie, but it's all about becoming a rock star in LA, and well, of course the band sells their soul to the devil, but
bunch of bands have done that.
But you know what? A lot of it, because I was in the music industry, a lot of this was like this happened. This is true stuff. Oh, wow. They'll do anything to get that record contract.
That's right.
And so that's a good movie.
Wow.
Favorite band, favorite CD.
Oh my God.
Since you were in the music industry. Hey, mine was Van Halen. Ain't Talking About Love.
That's a good. Van Halen's a good one.
So when I saw David Lee Roth, I was like, David, you're my idol. And you know my second song is Let Me Go Rock and Roll by Kiss.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
See, Kiss is one of my all-time favorites. So I got to say, Kiss is in there. I like a lot of the newer stuff that's coming out too, but I like more of the traditional. Like, I'm a metalhead. That's all I listen to is metal, but I also love some country music and what have you. But give me something that's good. Give me a good beat. I'm happy with. Yeah. There's just so many bands out right now that I just like that. There's no such thing as my favorite, but of all, I would say Kiss has got to be it.
Song?
You put me on the spot now.
I tend to do that. Why he's thinking. Yours.
I'm a hip hop head, so
I know.
Tribe Called Quest is the Low End Theory is one of my favorites.
Good.
Yeah.
You got a second one?
A second one? Ooh. Wow. You put me on that. Michael Jackson, Remember the Times.
Good song. Good song.
Yeah.
All right.
That was like one of my first cassettes my mom got me.
How do people reach you?
On Instagram at Gena Rynae, Facebook, same Gena Rynae, Snapchat.
Spell the name so people understand.
Gena, Genarynae.
Okay.
Gena Rynae. Did you like that?
Yes.
I did too. All right.
Did you come up with your song?
There's so many songs that I like. I don't have a favorite. I just don't. I hit shuffle on it and I go anything that moves me, I'll take.
And how can people find you in your work, especially Trick Entertainment?
Trick Entertainment, Instagram, Trick Entertainment, Facebook, I'm just Patrick Rivera or Trick Entertainment, YouTube, Trick Ent Films. I used to have a Twitter account. I still do, I guess, but
I was looking for it.
I have it, but I'm just so...
You're busy.
Yeah, I try to get on as much as I can just to let people know what I'm doing, but if anything, it's Facebook. Facebook's my social media.
Last thoughts on social media. What do you think of social media? How has it helped you?
So many people from all over the world just finding my artwork, finding just me in general and liking my pics, and of course reaching out to me and doing collaborations with different artists like everywhere. It's crazy. It's fun.
Like your art. You got talent.
Oh, thank you.
You going to get it out there more in 2018?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I'm going I can't say that. I swear my mom's here. But I'm going crazy next year with artwork. I've stashed away a bunch of things, and I'm working on a bunch of big projects. So you'll be seeing more of me in 2018.
Good. And Patrick? Your feelings on social media?
That's a whole different world.
It is.
It's a necessary evil for some things, but I just try not to be on it as much as possible. It's people hate each other, people love each other, but as far as I just try to, it's good to have the people that you haven't seen in 30, 40 years, and I like that aspect of it. I like the aspect of, hey, this is coming out, I'm doing this, and you get those nice little, cool, right on, and at least you get to tell people what's going on, but that's about it. I'm not very good at it. Let's put it that way.
I keep my timeline pretty short.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's nothing but positivity, man.
And you get the last word on fashion. Why is fashion important to you?
Because, who doesn't like to look good? I'm just saying.
Okay,
right?
And your hair?
I love to express my colorful ways in my hair,
That's you.
Yeah,
that's
that
true.
Is all me.
All right. I'm not into fashion, but that's not true. Wait and see what happens in 2018. We got a lot of good stuff going on as far as the fashion. Patrick, into fashion?
Nope.
Yeah, see?
Jeans and t-shirt.
Yep, that's
He's
me.
A simple man.
Simple man.
Hey, I got to thank everybody for coming out. This was a really, really good year to be back on radio again here at LA Talk Radio. I want to thank Provincial Vodka, obviously, because it's good that they got into the stores, Gelson's and everything like that. Paul Rubin out of Blind Lake, Saskatchewan, Canada. Susan Post. Stera Cosmetics. Delane is coming back in soon. The Restroom Kid out of Maryland. Bill Macy and his wife. Xingtao Beer, they're coming back up. Third Wolf Designs. Alexia is coming in from Denver in February. Linda Steele is coming in February 27th. Tree Sisters, Sea Shepherd, and there's a bunch of other ones that I haven't announced yet. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for Jennifer coming in all the way from San Diego. Thank you for Patrick, because he's a good filmmaker. And you want to support an independent filmmaker, support their films, because everybody needs it. And if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours. This is Movie Reviews and More. We'll see you next week.
You're listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.